Welcome to the June 14th, 2018 episode of Reactive Consciousness, our in-depth podcast about what happened this week in our lives. I am your host, vysethebold, and this is...
Lotus Prince.
And PyroJackFrost.
OG3. And we got a really nice reactive. We actually had a ton of stuff to talk about this week before we, change formats and all. But we will be moving on to this next week, just as a reminder. But first, we want to just do something in our regular old format once again for the last time. So this will be mostly about E3, but we also have some other interesting announcements that happened right before that we wanted to talk about. Lotus has a lot to talk about on a few things.
Yeah, some of what I put on the notes is E3, but I do have a couple quick updates of non-E3 things first.
Yeah, please do, because these were really interesting.
All right, so one of them I thought was quite interesting is we've talked about the bad ports for PC of Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy VI. Chrono Trigger has gotten considerable updates to the point where it really looks like this is going to be the way to play it. The PC is now the best version.
It's better than the DS one?
Well, the DS always had inferior graphics. Yeah, it's pretty much the DS one, but now they've, I think, made the graphics more palatable to the old school audience. And they've also done some UI updates.
The DS one had the original graphics.
So, it has a lower resolution, and it also has compressed versions of the anime cutscenes from the PS1 version. The PC version has the original resolution now up-resed, and of the Super Nintendo version. And it has, clean, uncompressed versions of the anime.
Yeah, this is an important thing to bring up, because the DS version looks beautiful on the DS, but you've seen, if you ever use a DS emulator or something, the graphics start to show their cracks when it's made bigger. So this is actually designed for the PC.
It looks nice on a small screen,
exactly.
But if you see it on anything more than that...
It looks great on what it was designed for, but
yeah, those were heavily compressed. You got to remember to be on those tiny DS carts. So at the time they weren't they didn't have a ton of memory on them. So it's really neat that they actually went back to the original source anime cutscenes and re-encoded them.
I forgot there were anime cutscenes, so that's pretty cool that they covered that.
Yeah, the major thing here is that they did this mainly when they moved over to the Android and Apple iOS ports. And that's what this PC port is based off of. It's based off of the mobile port. And that is actually what the main complaint is, because it has very new-looking text and there's a really stupid-looking filter over the 16-bit graphics, so it doesn't look like it's pixelated. But in a game like that, you want it to look pixelated, so I don't know why they do that.
But just what's really cool about this new update, though, because we've already talked about how they've started to fix stuff. But just to read a couple bullet points off of what the actual updates were, these are patch notes from Square Enix. It says the UI has been further updated for those using a controller or a keyboard, while moving on the world map, how options and dialogue are displayed, shop screens, etc. Improvements have been made to battles. You could flip between pages within menus with single button presses. Texts are updated when recovering MP, so you don't have to double check. The duration the explanation window is shown has been extended. It says improving gameplay speed in areas where it would previously slow down. Difficulty has been made more forgiving in specific minigames during story events. Controller input is now disabled when the game is not active. And then minor bug fixes, whatever that means, but that's always good.
Yeah, and not only that, but there are more updates on the way. So they're not just stopping.
What else could they update?
They're doing a whole host of things in order to make it look as good as it can be, and it's an insane about face on Square Enix's normal reaction to fans, which is to do absolutely nothing and not address anything that they say. They have directly addressed all of the complaints.
Yeah, this is pretty amazing.
To the point where it went from an awful port to it's probably going to be the definitive port.
Yeah, possibly the way to play. Yeah, better than the Super Nintendo, which nobody... I mean, I know the DS has more content, but the Super Nintendo is the definitive, like, presentation.
Sure.
Maybe until now, which is amazing.
Yeah, and that's really great. And there will probably be mods to it too. Like, eventually you could probably add an orchestral soundtrack rather than the SNES original, if that's your deal. If you see, I like the original soundtrack, but I could see the appeal of adding an orchestral soundtrack. Like, if you want the option. So I could see the appeal of that. So it's really neat that they're doing this. They haven't commented on whether they're going to do this to the Final Fantasy 5 and 6 ports, which are basically the same method. But
yeah, those are the ones that I hope that they change.
That would be great.
I would think that if they were going through all this trouble and they're basically based off of the same like engine kind of thing, and the same kind of porting structure, that they may do that as an afterword.
That'd be nice.
But
that'd be nice for sure.
It's really good of them. Like I really applaud them to listening to fans on this, and I don't regret purchasing it. As soon as they made announcements that they were going to make changes, I bought it. I was holding off on doing that, but I wanted to reward. I wanted to give them the like immediate reward.
This is when I'm buying it.
Yeah. So you know why I bought this. It's because you pledged to fix it.
Yeah, well, that's the important thing, like, because it's really easy to see who bought it the moment it launched. So they'd be like, well, the fans are clearly going to buy it no matter what, but if they actually check the times on these, that would help send a message.
Yeah. We should move on to a couple other things, because we got some really cool stuff here.
Yeah.
All right. Here's a funny one. This has been getting kind of viral. Well, I don't know if viral's the right word, but widespread on the internet. IHOP, the International House of Pancakes, has changed its name, or is changing its name, to the International House of Burgers, IHOB.
Wait, is that what the B stands for?
Yes.
Yeah, everyone's like, breakfast, duh. No, burgers. For real.
They're totally doing an entire format change on what they're supposed to be known for.
Yeah, but the reason I'm bringing this up is because, of course the internet's flipping out about it. They're like, what is this? But like, the really funny thing is, have you seen what
Wendy's said?
Yeah.
Wendy's was savage. It was great.
Yeah, Wendy's was brutal. Because somebody was like, ooh, look out, Wendy's. Like, we got IHOP's making burgers now. Do you feel threatened? And Wendy's is like, we don't really feel threatened by burgers from a place that thinks that pancakes is too hard. And it was like, oh shit.
They have that looping gif of those guys going, oh!
Yeah. No, but not only that, but there were two other really funny responses. Burger King changed its avatar, like on the Twitter, to Pancake King. It looks like the legit logo, but with pancake instead of burger. And they posted like, sorry, like the Taylor Swift song, like, sorry, old Burger King can't come to the phone right now. Like, did you guys get that?
Wow.
So I know that this is
hilarious.
Like, we're really just talking about this because it's a joke, but in a way, this is a win for IHOP. Because they're getting a lot of publicity.
Yeah.
And for all you know, they're getting this publicity because they're like releasing this new burger like thing that's really crazy, and they're just going to go back to IHOP, but everyone's going to know them for this. So
yeah, I think this is just a temporary thing, but it's just really funny.
Also, because IHOP doesn't roll off the tongue, it sounds dumb. Like, I don't know what marketing person thought that would have. If that is a like forever change, that is just doesn't like. Part of your name should be something that you can say and don't feel like an idiot for saying it. And I feel like an idiot whenever I say IHOB.
Well,
like, what is a hob? Like, at least IHOB. Like
Bilbo
IHOP.
Baggins, but he can't speak English well. He's just IHOB.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, there was one more tweet I wanted to point out from. I think this is more of a. Like, I don't know if we have those around here. I think they may be more of like a Texas thing. But like, Whataburger? Have you heard of that?
I have not.
Yeah, it's like an expression, like, wow, what a burger. Like, that's what the actual restaurant is called. Mm-hmm. What a burger, all one word. Mm-hmm. They made a tweet that said, you know, we like even if we started making pancakes, we would not change our name to What a Pancake. It was just also really funny.
But I'm
like
just,
just everybody's
thinking, like,
having fun with this.
you can say I hop to IHOP. Like that's
Yeah.
Think of it for IHOP
Yeah.
to IHOP is like you got shot in the legs, but you're still
Yeah, you
like
hobble
hobbling
over.
your way.
Wait,
Yeah.
did you guys see this? There was a guy who had an amputated leg who did several really creative like Halloween costumes just to kind of like bring it into a joke. He dressed up as an IHOP sign.
That's great.
And it was just him bending over as the sign with his legs sticking down like IHOP. It's just so funny.
I love stuff like that.
Yeah, he obviously has a really good sense of humor about it, but
oh sure. Yeah. Now, I think that's kind of all I can really milk out of IHOP.
Yeah.
Like, the only other thing I could think of is that in response to Wendy's tweet, Pop-Tarts and Moon Pies responded like, wow, damn, that was a good one. So, like, just everybody knows. Otherwise, this is fascinating. It's only on Steam right now, but I assume it'll make it to GOG when more bugs get fixed. But System Shock 1. Now, you know how on GOG you could play classic System Shock?
Yes.
You could also play enhanced, like the Night Dive enhanced version where you actually have mouse look. But they recently released System Shock 1 Source, where it plays more like a traditional, like a modern
That's
FPS,
pretty cool.
Which is just
I've never
like,
played the
what?
System Shock games.
So like it's a
meaning like my backlog is huge.
Well,
but,
System Shock 2 plays about like System Shock 2 with the exception of some tweaks plays about how you
like
would
a
assume
modern
yeah, it's like it shows its age, but it's more modern than not. But System Shock 1 is an RPG. Like it plays like an old RPG, like what was it, Wizardry or something?
It plays like Ultima Underground,
wow.
which is what it was based off of.
Excuse me, yeah. So yeah, like so you can look around, but when you move the mouse, it's like the whole screen is your HUD, and you click on items to pick up and everything. So it feels weird. Like you can run around, but then it's a point and click.
Like the way it has 3D looking,
yes,
it's within a 3D space, but like you have to like in order to turn your head, it's very. There's a button for each thing, like cock your head this way, like lower
like,
your stance, like there's like all these different buttons
like
for maneuvering. It's very awkward.
Yeah, like you can move smoothly. It's not like Myst, but yeah, if you want to look up, then you have to go to your HUD and click like your head, like that's where you're looking, or click your body where you're looking level. It's clunky as hell. Like, I guess it worked all right at the time because you might have been used to kind of playing games like that, but today it's, like, unbearable.
Well, not only that, but there were very few games like that, so it was kind of like, it was kind of revolutionary to see in 3D space like that, you know?
Yes. So now, like, SS1 Source, you can just kind of run around and I think look around more traditionally. And I think it's also free if you already owned System Shock 1 on Steam.
Neat.
I'll see what happens with GOG. Maybe nothing, but I would love for it to come out on GOG.
Real cool.
Otherwise, Shaq Fu, like the new one, was finally released on Steam. So that went from good news to bad news real quick. Because, like, I never expected the game to be great, and from what I've seen of basic gameplay, it looks mediocre. Like, I'm not surprised. I was kind of looking forward to it because, like, hey, do you think it'll be as, like, stupid as Shaq Fu 1? But the problem with the new Shaq Fu is that it uses, like, just old school, like, racist, dated humor, where, like, the Chinese people talk in, like, what you might hear in obnoxious Chinese accents from, like, movies from the 80s or 90s.
Basically, like, the original Shadow Warrior kind of level of stuff,
yeah,
right?
back when they kind of got away, like, we're talking jokes that, like, even then were chuckle-worthy at best, and today it barely registers as a joke.
Yeah.
Like, the town is called, like, Hung Lo, and it's like, I get it, it sounds vaguely Chinese, and it's also a dick. It's amazing. Like, was this game made 10 years ago and it only was released now? Like, who thought this was a good idea?
I don't have, like, much to say about this topic because I never played the original Shaq Fu, and I really don't care.
It's just a fighting game.
But it's like, I feel like this is just a typical cult. I don't want to say cult classic, but a cult classic for a stupid reason,
Yeah.
who
Oh yeah,
people
well,
think
like
that you can
re-releasing
wait, let me
bad
finish,
games
let
on
me finish.
purpose.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's a cult classic that was made its name for being dumb. So the
Yeah.
developers thought like, hey, we can make another one, and it's like, no, you probably should just let the first one stay as it was, and that's it.
Yeah, like, well, that's kind of the thing, because, like, there is the ironic enjoyment to be had, but that would work if you brought back a character that no one liked, but you made the game good. Like, you know how there was a brand new Bubsy game, like, a year or two ago? And it's like, oh, damn, they brought back Bubsy? But that game still... It probably actually is the best Bubsy game, but it's still painfully mediocre, and it's like, it's... Oh, it still sucks. Like, oh. Like the old Shaq Fu was a fighting game that was really floaty, and it just wasn't a very good game. I honestly don't think that it deserves the brutal reputation it had, but it was just kind of bad.
Mm-hmm.
And the new one is a side-scrolling beat 'em up, from what I've seen, and it looks like if you muted all the dialogue, it's like, okay, you know, it's probably forgettable. But again, it just uses, like, casually racist and transphobic, like, humor. Because it's like, that stuff's still funny, right? Like, stop. You know, that's kind of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, Old Man Stompy linked me to, like, the first 12 minutes of gameplay, and I was like, okay, I get it. Like, you're literally fighting, like, the big straw hat wearing, like, Chinese people like in a rice paddy farm. It's like, thanks for that, you know? Like, again, I don't even know if this game would have worked in the 2000s, let alone like the 2010s. 90s maybe, but even then it's in bad taste, like, regardless of the decade. So it's like, maybe I won't check this out even for ironic entertainment after all. Too bad too, because I was kind of looking forward to see like a so bad it's maybe good kind of game, but like, nah. Otherwise, there was one thing that I thought was, this is a weird one, and it's going to be short, because the only reason I bring this game up is the title. Apparently, there's a store page for an upcoming new Leisure Suit Larry game.
Yeah, and it's, like, it's so laughable that you think that it's a joke.
Why?
Well, that's kind of the actually, do you guys know like how the Leisure Suit Larry games are supposed to work typically?
Kind of. I've never played them, but I've seen pictures.
All right, so here's the thing. It's made by the same company, Sierra, that did King's Quest. Okay, so it's a point and click. And the idea is that you're like a loser schlub who still thinks he's cool. Like, you're wearing leisure suits, but like in modern day, so like
it was in the 80s when it was way too late to be wearing a leisure suit.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. He's got the leisure suit, and he's always got this like, yeah, like, you know, finger guns pointing at you, like, I'm cool, and it's like,
he's
dude,
a dork.
no.
Yeah.
Well, and the whole thing is you're trying to get laid. That's every game. But what usually happens is there's multiple different girls you can talk to, and the puzzle solving is to get closer to them. But whenever something might happen, either something interferes with you, or the person was tricking you the whole time, and Larry always ends up like out on his ass. And the thing is, Larry's like a legitimate sleazebag, so it's okay for the joke to be on him. Like, you kind of feel guilty playing as him, but even though you don't get with the girl at the end of the puzzle, there is that frustration, but it's also like, oh wait, Larry's a piece of shit, so I'm not even mad, you know?
There are some legitimate, really funny death scenes in Leisure Suit Larry. They're kind of rewards.
There are.
Yeah. One of them in particular is pretty iconic. So the one girl that is easy to get with is a prostitute, and for obvious reasons, and you could just pay her. But like, if you do it without wearing a condom, your your genitals explode.
Oh, really? Actually, I was thinking of a different one. No, I was thinking of a different one. There's a girl in like the third or fourth game or something who I think you ask her if she can show you her breasts or whatever, and she's like, well, I will if I can kill you, and you can actually choose to say yes, and she really will, and then she decks you, and it's just game over. And it's like, oh, wow, I can't say I don't know what I expected. But the reason I'm bringing up the new game, though, is strictly for the title, because it's probably the weirdest title. Because the Leisure Suit Larry games typically have titles that are sex-based puns. Like, there's one called Love for Sale, so it sounds like a prostitute, but you're on a yacht, so SAIL, Love for Sale. Like, I get it. The one where you're in college, trying to get with college girls, you're not Larry anymore, you're his nephew. It's called Magna Cum Laude. Like, I get it. So this new one, though, is baffling. And you guys might get the joke, but it's if the joke is what I think it is, it's fucking weird. So the joke is called, the title is Leisure Suit Larry, Wet Dreams Don't Dry. And if that's what I think it is,
it's a dark.
That might be a nod.
It's D4. The sweary.
Yeah, Dark Dreams Don't Die. Like a sweary reference. Who the fuck is gonna get
an
that?
Unfinished sweary game at that.
Yeah, the game that has Chapter 1 and nothing else, and I don't think it's gonna go any further. Like, if that's the joke they're making, that is obscure. Like, that was an Xbox One only game for a while. It's on GOG now, but like again, Chapter 1 of canceled. So like, again, if that's the joke they're making, if it's not, then I just don't know. But if it is, then like, whoa, sweary reference? Like, nobody makes sweary references. Like, sweary's most mainstream game is Deadly Premonition, and that one's because it's like, that's one of those cult classics where it's like, I just want to see the weirdness. So I don't know.
Yeah, this is coming after probably the most shameful of the entire titles in the series. So the last one was Box Office Bust, and it's widely considered to be the worst, like, low budget piece of crap game in the series. And so even if it's if it's in weird taste, or like if it's really dirty, it's actually kind of going back to its roots in some ways. So it's it's really weird though. Like, I don't even know if Al Lowe's involved or anything.
Yeah, I don't know, because like Al Lowe, when I hear his name, I generally picture Leisure Suit Larry. That's kind of his baby, kind of like Roberta Williams and Jane Jensen for King's Quest.
Sure.
So I don't know. The funny thing was, I'd only heard the title Box Office Bust for a while. Like, I remember Magna Cum Laude because I saw it on shelves. It was on the PS2, and I remember that game being just lambasted left and right. And then I saw comments about Box Office Bust. They're like, oh no, that one's clearly worse. And even just screenshots, you're like, ooh, like those graphics look bad,
straight
man.
garbage.
Like Magna Cum Laude looked bad, but like, no, I changed my mind. Box Office Bust is the one that looks bad. Yeah, I guess the only other thing that's not E3 that I can think of to bring up is going to be Valve's new decision. Now, we'd mentioned, watch out, those hentai games or games that involve nudity, they may be at risk on Steam. My guess is maybe not anymore, because Valve has gone so far the other way. They've apparently made a decision to let just everything through unless it is, quote, clearly trolling or against the law. So clearly trolling is kind of like, you could probably feel that out, and this is not an actual legal statement, so I guess we don't have to worry about, what's going to count. Like, Valve can put their foot down whenever they want to, but it does sound like the floodgates are open. So you might get a bunch of crap, but it's not censorship, so all right.
Yeah,
I
don't know much about law or anything like that. I mean, my brother's a lawyer. Does that count?
Yes.
But in a way, I feel like this is a good move for Valve, just because they're like, you know what, we're damned if we do, damned if we don't, in a way. So it's better off we just say, listen, the rules here are, as long as it's like not stupid, then whatever. We're not gonna worry about it. It's like purchasers should make their own decision in a way.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys saw this though. I go to the Steam front page pretty frequently, and there looks like there are games that are already testing what the limits are going to be for what counts as trolling.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Like somebody, I don't even think that this game is on there anymore, but I think there was straight up a game that called itself "This game is gay."
Classic.
And like I went into it and it was like a really dumb
How mature.
It was a really dumb visual novel with like generic anime characters, and it was about how the whole world got turned gay by Russia. It's just insane. Like it's straight up trolling. It's just straight up trolling.
Some people will do anything for recognition.
Attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, regarding games, because that's probably trolling, but regarding stuff that counts as being against the law, I mean, like, the law has always been there, so I wouldn't really worry too much about that. And again, Valve's decision itself is not legal writ, so they can take stuff back or jump in whenever they need to. That said, though, like, I wouldn't mind something like Greenlight coming back. I know a lot of stuff came through Greenlight anyway, but it would be nice to see if there were, like, checks and balances before, like, bullshit got released. But that said, I still like Valve's decision more than the previous establishment.
Yeah,
so,
it's
yeah.
I think it's kind of just that everything they tried hasn't worked. So they're just like, we're done trying.
Yeah, let's just choose the most, like,
least path of
arguably
resistance.
gamer friendly. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, path of least resistance.
So just to give you an idea, right now for upcoming games, there is literally a game called LGBT Battlegrounds, which is basically just like a really cheap knockoff of Battlegrounds to make fun of the LGBT community. It's not in good taste. It's not like something that's supposed to be promoting it. This is ridiculous.
In a way, this just shows how stupid society is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this is the kind of crap that you used to see when, remember, when ROMs were new and ROM hacking was a new thing. You used to see all kinds of racist and bad taste kind of crap come out of the ROM hacking community. Like, you know, this is what this reminds me of. They're really just testing Steam's limits, but at the same time, you're really outing yourself as a piece of shit.
Yep.
Yeah. Although that said, though, we are seeing what the limits are, which is nice, because if there ever is something that we don't like the gamers themselves can be like, and like report that shit to death.
Yeah.
So that's an option.
And I think like Valve can easily tell something like that is one of the trolling things that they were talking about. So this is not a law, so it's not like, well, wait till something changes the law. Like, no, they can do whatever they want whenever they want. They just put out a public announcement, so that is good. I'll take that over an actual, governmental decision that might have been made before checking all of the potential weaknesses. Oh no, here's the game. Gay Nation, a gay game for gays. Gays only, in parentheses.
Gays only.
Why are people
classy.
idiots?
Yeah, like, I am not giving this free press. I am telling you to condemn these people. They're terrible.
And I'll be the one who says it. Any listeners who find this funny, like, I don't want you listening to this podcast.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, right.
Please come at me, bro. I mean, like, really.
Yeah, this is not what we're here for. Although that
Find a
said,
better
though,
sense of humor.
in order to although that said, in order to submit a game to Steam, wouldn't they need to, because you're going to indirectly get paid, right? Like, wouldn't Steam need to know who you are and everything like that?
I don't know.
Put you in the line of fire?
Well, whatever. I know that this stuff won't be around for very long because it is obviously hateful hateful rhetoric and stuff like that. So,
well, not to mention, I get the feeling some of this might be just because Valve recently made this announcement, so they're like, oh, let's get on this while we can. Like a year from now, assuming the rule is still up, I think it'll have quieted down just because it's been that long. It's it's not funny to be like, dude, I could do whatever I want. Like, we know, it's been that way.
Yeah.
So I get the feeling there's a flash in the pan.
And I want to say, kind of with this, makes me think of any sort of company who has a system where with user created content, like let's say YouTube or stuff like that, and the companies want to step off and say, hey, we don't want to make these decisions, but at the same time, you're a company, you can choose for the things that are on your page to represent your company's values.
Sure.
And anyone who complains about free speech does not understand the definition of free speech.
Yeah.
The definition of
Oh,
free
that
speech
happens a
means
lot.
you personally can say whatever you want within limits, but no one has to listen to you. So
Yeah, free speech is pretty much... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, so like if you make a YouTube video that's just shitty, or make a video that that's just shitty, and you want to post it on YouTube, but YouTube's like, you can't post that. You can't go back at them and say free speech. They're like, you had your free speech by making it. We don't want our company to be associated with this product.
Yeah, like that. That's the thing with free speech is like, as far as American free speech is concerned, you can say pretty much whatever you want as long as it's not directly dangerous, like, you know, shouting fire in a crowded movie theater. As long as it's not a call to like do direct harm to others. Like I say, we should kill X person. Like that's not going to fly. And other than that, free speech just means the government is not going to censor you. Like I mean, you can say, hello, how was your day on Facebook, and the admin can delete you because that's their prerogative. Like when you signed up to Facebook, you agreed to their terms of service.
That you probably didn't read.
And that you probably didn't read. But like if there's something like where it's like, I promise to be nice, and you call someone a jerk, Facebook's own admins could come in and delete you, although that's probably not going to actually happen. But within like a Facebook group that you created, you personally, you know, if you don't like someone there, you can remove them. But that's not what free speech is governmental, not my little forum online or whatever. Or I could kick people out of my real life club. I have a book club of 10 people. I don't like you, you're out. Like, that does not violate free speech. That's my decision, you know, like that kind of thing.
Yep.
So like free speech is not anywhere near what a lot of the people who complain about it is. And a lot of the people who do complain about it probably should shut up anyway, like based on what they were saying that got them to complain.
Yeah. So we should move on to one last game before E3 stuff, and this was Tetris by Mizuguchi.
This wasn't announced at E3?
It was before E3. It was announced before.
Correct.
Then. Okay.
So it looks amazing. It looks like it's from the creators of Rez. So it looks really cool. What's it called? Do you know?
No, I don't.
Tetris
like the
VR.
only thing I really...
No, I don't know.
Is it?
It might be, actually.
Because like the only thing I was going to say about this is I don't really know much.
This isn't by the creator of Rez. This is by the people who made the VR version of Rez.
Which is the creator of Rez. He made it.
Is it?
Yeah. He actually made it. He's been carrying it over from company to company. He actually has the intellectual property. He made the VR version. He wanted.
It's called Tetris Effect.
There you go.
Okay.
So it's named after the like Tetris effect of you seeing Tetris in your brain well after you stop playing.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Is that what that means?
Oh,
okay.
wow.
Yeah.
No, because the only thing I really had to say about this game, because I haven't seen gameplay or anything, I just heard it was going to exist, is that like I was never really much of a Tetris guy, but if it's by the creator of Rez, then like you do have my attention just because.
Yeah. So this is really neat. I'm excited. Actually, I think this was like from. They did. It has been shown at E3, but it was a pre-E3 reveal. So
gotcha.
I cannot wait for it. I'm a big Tetris fan. My favorite version of Tetris is Tetris DS. I love that version of it, just because of its accessibility and all the different weird modes. But I also think it's really solid Tetris. So I hope that it does something new for it, because I liked Luminous when these guys came out with Luminous, and they're doing a new version of that for the Switch. So
yeah, Luminous was what, PSP?
The original was for PSP, but then it came out for pretty much everything. It came out on the Vita, it came out on Steam, PS2, like Xbox 360, everything pretty much. The Vita, like the whole 9 yards. But I'm excited. It'll probably be a good game of Tetris at the very least. That'll have a cool visualizer. But we have some doozies here. I'll let Lotus talk about this. He was really excited about this one.
What, the E3 thing?
Yeah.
Let's get into like tons of time of E3, because there wasn't a lot of good stuff necessarily, but there was a lot of stuff.
Yeah, well, in my opinion, there was a lot of good stuff, just not a lot of stuff I personally am invested in. That said, though, there were 3 things that really stood out to me. like personally things that I want to play. One of them was a brief teaser. It was really a teaser for a teaser. Like, we're gonna give the real announcement at QuakeCon, but there's Doom Eternal. Kind of a generic title if you ask me, but what really stood out is that they said there were many more new types of monsters. While some might be straight up new and some might be classics. There's like what might have looked like an archvile in there. That'd be awesome. But what really got me going for this is that you can clearly see like ruined skyscrapers in the background. This might be the Doom, like a new Doom game, Hell on Earth, that I've wanted ever since Doom 3. So like, give me a new Hell on Earth.
My big question, because I'll admit that I actually haven't played the new one yet. I've been meaning to.
It's amazing.
Yeah, but like, Did they set it up for a sequel, and
yes.
Did you feel like they needed to make a sequel for it?
Yes. Yes and yes. So the end of Doom 2016 is on a clear cliffhanger.
Okay.
Like, you'll be back when we need you.
Yeah, exactly. And you will actually be kind of mad. Like, and it's supposed to make you feel mad. You're like, shit, like, I want to go fight this guy. But he's just like, like, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, Doom 2016 was, like, my game of the year for 2016. It was amazing. It was really, really good. I definitely really recommend it. And they did a follow-up. They did Doom VFR. If you have access to a one of the virtual reality headsets, it came out for PlayStation VR and the Vive and Oculus, I think. Well, I don't think it came out for Oculus for obvious reasons, but well, it may not be obvious. So John Carmack left Bethesda to work for Oculus, and also had like a big dispute and lawsuit while there. So
really?
Yeah. There is some evidence that he was programming the Oculus like on Bethesda time.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So anyway, he may be a genius, but he also did something that he wasn't supposed to there. But anyway, so it got released for the Vive on PCs, obviously. And so that's a whole new game as well. That's a whole new experience. It's not the same game.
Yeah, I kind of want to look into it just whenever the hell I end up getting VR.
Well, you can always try it out on my PSVR one time, and play around. I'm sure it's not as long of an experience.
Yeah, like I did buy Until Dawn Rush of Blood just in case.
Sure.
I heard that was just like on-rail shooter, though.
Yeah, it's not the same at all, but I'm curious.
I like on-rail shooter, so that wasn't a big problem for me.
Yeah, I'll take it. So the other... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that I'm really happy, first of all, for another Doom, because I love that one so much. But I don't know if you checked this out, but it's basically an id renaissance from Bethesda. Like, almost all of their games that are coming out are sequels to id games. So you have Rage 2, which... Who the hell could guess that was ever going to be a thing? And I'll gladly play it, because I'm sure it'll be good. And because Bethesda's like first person shooter output lately has been like phenomenal. Even if it hasn't been successful, it's been really good. And they're already coming out with a new Wolfenstein game. They are coming out with so many Wolfenstein games.
This is a VR one too, isn't it?
No, it's a co-op game. So it may have VR functionality, but I know that the main gimmick is that you're playing as a pair of twins, and it's supposed to have co-op functions.
Yeah, I believe you're BJ Blazkowicz's grandkids.
Twin daughters.
Your granddaughters, yes.
Which is really funny, because I don't know if you saw this, but Kurt Collada, of HG 101, he posted like, I don't know, like 10 years ago, about like a Wolfenstein 3 that would have his children come rescue him. BJ.
Oh man.
He's just like, I can only guess that this would happen. It would be his two children coming to rescue him in the future.
Yep.
And this is what happens.
Fantastic.
And it takes place in the 80s. So it'll be really cool, like the alternate 80s. So where Nazis are still a major presence. So. I am excited about all of these id games. I think that it's really cool. All we need is a new Quake game, and we'll have it going. Right. But I don't really count on that. But there's so many cool new things here.
So Doom was one of the 3 things I wanted to bring up. The second one I'll have less to talk about because we've already talked about this before, but confirmed to come to the West is that Fist of the North Star game that plays like a Yakuza game. The one that was called, Fist of the North Star in Japanese is Hokuto no Ken, and Yakuza in Japan is called Ryu ga Gotogo. So people were kind of unofficially calling this game, Hokuto no Gotogo. But, it's, I think it has an English dub, which is just going to throw me off a little bit because I'm so used to hearing Yakuza in Japanese. But the gimmick with this game is that it plays like Yakuza, and it's got Yakuza voice actors in it. Like Kiryu's voice actor, the main character of Yakuza, is voicing Kenshiro, and it actually works pretty damn well. Majima's voice actor is voicing Jagi, who's like a scummy piece of shit in the Hokuto game or Hokuto series. I don't know if they're gonna go get the original PS2 cast back. I doubt that, but it would be funny as hell to hear Mark Hamill being Majima for no reason.
that is cool, but I will confirm this is called Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise, and yes. I just shat a brick when I saw this announced because I was always hoping, but this is always going to be a pleasant surprise, not I know definitely that they're bringing this over because it has rights associated with it, and it's Fist of the North Star has never been a super popular thing. It's there for anime nerds and people that really like that manga or that anime from that era. I mean, we're fans of it, but we're the fringe,
We've gotten a couple of Hokuto games, but they were really low key. The second one, there were 2 Dynasty Warrior style games, like Fist of the North Star Ken's Rage, and the second one I think was digital only in the West, so it's low key, but Yakuza has been gaining more traction, so maybe that's why they're we'll give it a shot.
Yeah, in fact, they said that Yakuza 6 sold more in other regions than Japan for the first time.
Whoa.
Yeah. So,
really?
Yeah, they officially said that the world is now their market rather than just Japan.
Damn, that's amazing.
So that can actually account for the reason why they're starting to port the games to Steam, which also I shat a brick on.
Yeah, that was genuinely a surprise. Yakuza has exclusively been Sony, PS2, PS3, PS4,
even PSP.
And then, I was gonna say PSP, which we never got. We never got those games, but they have never stepped outside of Sony consoles. And all of a sudden, Yakuza 0 and Yakuza 1 Kiwami, they're going to hit Steam, which is just, that's actually mind-blowing to me. I never thought that was going to happen.
Yeah, the only time that this team has ever done a PC version is with Binary Domain. They ported Binary Domain to PC, and that's the only time they've ever interacted with a PC crowd before.
Oh, yeah, the Binary Domain people made Yakuza Dead Souls,
Well,
right?
no, I mean, it's by the Yakuza team. Binary Domain is by the Yakuza team. So
well, okay.
Yeah. So I think this is great. I mean, more Yakuza the better. I'm glad that we're getting the spin-offs now. I mean, there have been about 4 games that we haven't gotten, the 2 PSP games and the 2 Kenzan games, right? So
were there 2? There was Ishin and there was Kenzan, right?
That's what I meant.
Well, the PS3 one, I thought there was only one of those. Was there another one?
No. Just the PS3 game and the PS4 feudal game.
Oh, there's a PS4 feudal game too?
Yeah. There are 2 feudal Japan games.
Oh, damn! I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the main character Kiryu plays 2 different characters in those games. They're not sequels of each other. They're just in the same style.
Okay.
He's playing one. He's playing a different character from Japanese history. One of them he's playing Musashi,
okay,
and one of them he's playing Goemon, I think, but something like that. I don't know.
The most straight man, humorless Goemon ever made.
Yeah, it's something like that. I don't.
That's pretty funny.
I don't know. My my Japanese feudal history that good, but
Yeah.
but yeah, these things were all really cool. The only you could talk about your last game here. This is a huge surprise. Huge.
Yeah, this is a game that you introduced me to. So here's the thing. Devolver Digital, the company, had a presentation, and they telegraphed this a long time ago. 2 years ago on Twitter, they said, if our buddies at From Software are in on this, maybe we'll localize Metal Wolf Chaos. And everyone flipped out about that because we never got that game. And then a few days ago on Twitter, they posted on Twitter just a picture of the presidential seal like from the game, and people were like, oh. So at their actual presentation, they confirmed Metal Wolf Chaos is coming out on Xbox One, PS4, and PC, HD, widescreen, with the original Goofy voices, and that's like incredible.
So I've never even heard of this game before.
Oh,
but
you're gonna love it.
It's giant mechs. It's From Software, so maybe I'll check it out.
So
yeah, because From Software is all about. Go ahead.
What I was gonna say is, you played a little bit of Armored Core back in the day. I
actually really. Okay, I want to say I really liked Armored Core. Even though I could never get into it, I loved the idea of it. I really hope that From Software eventually goes back to it and makes like a new modernized version of it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they've released it on the PS3 at least. I don't think a brand new one, but there's Armored Core 5, I think.
Yeah. So, what I was gonna get at was, you know how those games are very kind of simmy. They're like kind of clunky because you feel like you're moving around in a giant robot. Well, they actually took a totally different approach to this game, even though it has similar aesthetics. It's a lot more arcadey and a lot more fun, if you ask me. And you can straight up destroy like landmarks because it's funny and it's really cool. It's about a coup d'etat where the vice president gets into mech and tries to fight the president in a mech. It's just it's amazing. It's very famous for a specific line. Welcome to the White House.
Yeah, you vault into your mech and crash on the lawn and say that line. It's like, yeah, and then you have to fight off all these enemies. The thing with this game is that its history is baffling.
Yeah.
Because this is the most like America game you have ever seen, and it came out in 2004, but number one, it was exclusive to Japan until just now, and number two, on the Xbox, a game that a system that you couldn't pay Japanese people to play. Like, they don't give a fuck about the Xbox. Like what? I think Vice, you said America got a demo disc of it, but it stopped from there. And it's fully voiced in English too. The game's voiced in English. It's ready to go. Just change the text to English. That's all you need.
So From Software had several original Xbox games that were exclusive to Xbox. And they're largely forgotten, but all of them were very good. Otogi 1 and Otogi 2, and this game. This was the last game, and a demo of it was released on the last demo disc for the original Xbox magazine.
Yeah, it was 2004, right? So that means the 360 was coming out next year?
Yeah, so it was the very last issue of that magazine, the official Xbox magazine, so it was always one of those games that where big Xbox fans would always put that on their modded system in order to play it. There've been basically two games in particular. The other game being Sega had actually finished an English localized version of a game called Ren-A-Hero No. 1, which was originally a Dreamcast game that only came out in Japan. So those two games in particular were games that you basically had to pirate to play. And, you're not really pirating Ren-A-Hero because it never officially came out at all. But Metal Wolf Chaos is just a treat to play, and it's almost no localization needed, maybe other than a few text things.
Well, yeah, like I said, the menu stuff.
Yeah,
it's voiced in English already.
Exactly.
It's ready to go. Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention, by the way, Pyro, you're gonna like this. Have you seen Starship Troopers?
Yeah. I saw it when I was
Alright, so
14. My dad
saw
thought it was
it in
going to
the
be totally
theater.
different. Yeah, my dad brought me to it, and then that first sex scene, he's like, "What have I done?"
yeah, well, it's like a Verhoeven movie too. So like, get ready for ultraviolence. But do you remember those really cheesy military ads, like the commercials
I
in that movie?
think so. It's been a while.
Like, you can join, and you can join, and it pans over this little kid. I'm gonna join too, and then it shows everyone else doing like ha 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 ha, like that kind of Full House bullshit. Well, Metal Wolf Chaos has like political ads in kind of that style. It's really over the top and ridiculous, and the game's just they're just like interludes.
It's just a.
And it's like,
It's
yes.
basically a commentary on American politics, and it's even funnier in today's context, if you ask me.
Yeah, like it's just the whole thing is just a spectacle, but like in Metal Wolf Chaos, it's funny.
Maybe they thought that it was like it would be offensive to Americans, but really, I'm right there with them. Like this is hilarious.
I mean, like we know, like Americans
We're not
have
that dumb.
Like, Americans have hated their government for, like, not since the beginning, but, like, for a long fucking time. Like, they're never satisfied, so, like, we get it.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of our tradition, right?
Yeah. A Democrat wins. Fuck. A Republican wins. Fuck. Like, nobody's happy.
But, anyways, I did want to get in as much as I could here. This next one was a really cool thing. So they had said after Dark Souls, since we were talking about From here, From Software, they had said that Dark Souls was done. So Mizuguchi said that, who's basically the director and originator of the genre since Demon Souls. He did Demon Souls, Dark Souls 1, and Dark Souls 3, if I remember right, and Bloodborne.
And Bloodborne.
Yeah.
Wait, was this Mizuguchi or Miyazaki?
Miyazaki, I'm sorry. Miyazaki. Okay. So, the new announcement was that Sekiro Shadows Die Twice was revealed, which is their new game. So it looks like it's going to be... so Neo kind of like had this title before, but it's like the samurai and ninja version of Dark Souls.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
I want to say this first, and this I feel bad for From Software because they did so well with the Souls games. I feel like this is not going to be Souls-like at all. But people are just comparing it to it because that's what they know these games as. I actually saw someone compare this to Tenchu, which I think is also a From Software game, and I think this is more like Tenchu. It might not be, but I think this is probably going to be similar in the sense that you fight like pretty big enemies, and any move you take might kill you, but I think it's going to be much more fast-paced. So I think I'm going to hold off on calling it Souls-like until we learn more about it.
So yeah,
no, that's fair.
You're right. I believe From Software at least published some Tenchu games. I don't know whether they actually made it. Developer was Acquire. There we go.
Okay.
But
because I'm actually... Oh, go ahead.
But they may have made some of the sequels. So I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean, Tenchu was always a cool series and a cool idea. But they, other than the first two games, like most people like the fans of the series like the first two games, and that's it. There's like a bunch of sequels that people mostly don't like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then the other thing I want to say is, let's assume that it is a Souls-like game. I kind of feel bad for From Software then too, because that's like their only thing now. So I kind of want them to, even though like I know a lot of people want a new Souls game, I was hoping it would be a new Bloodborne, but if every game they make is Souls-like, then they're kind of then becoming a one-trick pony. Like, granted, their games might all be good, but it's like that's going to be all they're known for.
Well, I will kind of throw this one in there, though. Like, even though all of their games... Because they have quite a history. But, like, even though all of their games may or may not... Like, they may not be Souls-like, but there's definitely a theme. Like the Kingsfield games, I know those are supposed to kind of be tied into the Souls universe, but the Kingsfield games kind of have the feel of Souls games. Not for gameplay, but more for, like, the world design and the aesthetic. Eternal Ring is completely unrelated to Souls, but like the gameplay is very similar to Kingsfield. Then you have Lost Kingdoms for the GameCube, which is like a card battling game, but it still does the Demon Souls thing where like everything was okay until one day fog rolled in and now there's evil stuff like the movie The Mist. So like From Software, like they also have some odd games like Jumping Flash, but like they really like that, if not Souls gameplay, then at least that miserable universe kind of stuff.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is they all kind of have that that bleak theme going on of like the apocalypse already happened and everything is shit, deal with it, like, you know, like and I think that's really kind of cool that they have like a house style. And even the Armored Core games are kind of like that, but like in a technological way. Like, the world's been taken over by corporations. It's kind of similar to Syndicate, if you know, like the Syndicate world. It's rival companies basically putting out hits on each other in the Armored Core games, and they're hiring you as a mercenary to go do their dirty work in your Armored Core unit.
Wow.
It's pretty. It's never all is well, except for maybe in Jumping Flash, because that's pretty happy. But actually,
yeah. And by the way, I was told one thing. This is really quick. I was told one thing about the Armored Core and the Souls games. I don't know if Bloodborne does this, but apparently in the Souls games and in Armored Core, the best weapon in the game, at least what the developers, I guess, feel is the best, is always called the Moonlight something. Like there's the Moonlight Spear in Demon Souls, the Moonlight Sword in Dark Souls, and apparently there are like Moonlight guns or lasers or cannons or something like in Armored Core, which is just kind of cool.
Also, the hyena character shows up in the Armored Core games as well.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. He's one of the rivals in one of the early Armored Core games, apparently.
Wow. Yeah, he's called Patches. I think like he's called the hyena in the Souls games, but like I think Patches is the name that follows through. Like even in Bloodborne, I think there's a spider that's called Patches, and it's just like
well, it's a spider with like a man's face.
Oh god, that's creepy.
Yeah, and he fucks with you the whole, like, not the whole game, but there's several times when he just fucks with you.
That's Patches.
And then you can sneak in behind him. Like, so there's a door that you see him in the first time, and he like, I think he just talks to you and makes fun of you or whatever. And then if you find a shortcut later on in the game, you come in behind him, and you can just kill him.
Should you kill him though? Because I know that in Demon Souls and Dark Souls, he's a weasel, and like in Demon Souls, he screws with you twice. The first time he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it." Here's proof that
I don't want to tell people if you should kill him anyway, because I want people to figure it out themselves.
Oh, fair enough. Because at least in the old Souls games, in Demon Souls, he'll pay you off for for forgiving him. He doesn't do that in Dark Souls. He just apologizes. But in both games, I think you could kill him for his drops, like his equipment. But if you let him live, then he'll show up at your hub world and sell you stuff that you can't buy anywhere else.
So I can confirm that Patches shows up in Armored Core 4 Answer, which is the expansion or like sequel to 4.
That's pretty cool.
Armored Core.
God, that's weird.
And he's called Patch the Good Luck, and he pilots a lynx, which is, I guess, a reference to the hyena. And he's number 27 on the in the rankings. So it's
that's fantastic.
Yeah. So so that's a reference that's been carrying over since I would guess that 4 Answer is probably the first time he shows up.
Maybe. By the way, one thing to mention that might be a little weird regarding Demon Souls and Dark Souls Patches, he looks identical. He's voiced by the same guy. He behaves the exact same way by leading you to colored orbs and kicking you into a pit, but it's not the same Patches. Demon Souls and Dark Souls are in different universes. It's just it's the same it's the same, but it's canonically not the same.
So I'm excited for it. I think the best thing that we can hope for is that it is not particularly a Souls-like, but has elements that they learned were good game design from like difficulty, for instance, but not in a frustrating way. But like also the way that they storytell it, in the From Software games is great. It doesn't have exposition.
it.
It has a lot of lore associated with it. I think that would be really cool if they told a lot of the story through that. Though it seems like, since this is going to take place in a realistic setting, that there probably will be more dialogue, I would think. But that's just a thought. Humans talk to each other. It's hard to talk to a minotaur, I guess. But you know what I mean. So,
well, even in the Souls games, though, there are humans around, but they generally don't have much to say.
Exactly. They're depressed as much as the area is depressed.
Yeah.
So
there's so many things. I mean, I just have like two things that I wanted to mention because there's so much from E3.
Sure.
The two big ones. One is that there's finally a release date for Kingdom Hearts 3.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
What is it? 15 years since 2 or what? I don't know. It hasn't been. Maybe it has been that long.
It's been a long time.
That's that one. And the other thing I wanted to mention is where was it? Oh, so I've never really been into the Witcher series. I didn't like the first one. Well, I got like halfway through the first one, but it got kind of repetitive and boring. I could never get into the second one because the combat system was, to me, too unforgiving. And I never played 3, even though I heard it's like amazing. So hey, maybe if I have time, I will. But I love cyberpunk universes. It's one of my favorite kind of universe genres, other than that might just be my favorite, actually.
It's one of my favorites, too.
I'm really looking forward to Cyberpunk 2077, which is the new game from Project Red.
Yeah.
Or CD Project Red, whatever it's called. I mean, granted, they've only shown videos, so I don't want to make any assumptions yet if it's going to be good or bad. I know The Witcher 3 was heralded to be like the best Witcher series and like one of the best games of last year, whatever it was. So I'm hoping that this is actually a really good game as well.
Yeah.
By the way, one of the big shockers about this trailer being released, I mean, like, it had to come sometime, but like, do you know when the previous trailer for Cyberpunk was, when they announced that they were making it?
No. January
2013.
Oh wow.
There was like a 2-minute trailer for it with this amazing music. The song is called Bullets by Archive. I know this because I actually looked it up because I love the background music so much. And the trailer ended with "coming when it's ready."
Yeah.
So 2018, it's still just cinema. There's no gameplay, but it's like a much more fleshed out trailer with an actual narrative behind it. So it's like, oh, okay, like you got my attention now for sure.
The only other thing that I wanted to mention just super quick here was Sony just announced The Last of Us 2 as well.
Yeah, I'm hyped.
I don't have much to say about it because I haven't played the first one yet, but I will for sure play both of them.
Oh, man. First one's brilliant. I mean, the first one is... I mean, you probably know this already, but it's... what if you had to fight zombies in Uncharted instead of people with guns?
Exactly.
Like, that's... But it's really... Like, the emotions are real in The Last of Us. Also, I mean, I feel that I should mention this because if I don't, people will be like, how could you not? I never played any of these games, but... Bethesda said yes, they are working on Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah.
Just to put things in perspective, Skyrim came out in 2011.
Not only that, sorry, but a new series as well, Star whatever it's called. Hold on.
Yeah, it was Star something.
Starfield.
Yeah.
So first, I think like I like Fallout, I like Elder Scrolls, but sometimes they're just too long for me. There's like too much going on. Granted, Starfield's probably going to be the same thing, but I could look forward to seeing a game like that in space. Also, just a really quick thing, apparently a lot of people are making memes with thinking that Starfield is actually a Garfield game in disguise.
That's amazing.
But
I wish.
I should also mention, as a reminder, we do these, hence the format change. That we announced in CoreCon, but this is as of Sunday night, so keep this in mind. There is still some more E3 to go. I think Nintendo and Sega still need to complete theirs. I think we know about Sega's thing because they did like a teaser for the Yakuza Fist of the North Star game, but and
Yakuza 0's store page on Steam exists now too.
Exactly. But keep in mind, we will have more to talk about next week, and it won't be long. Does anybody have any final words to say about the C3? I thought it was an awesome E3. But
I thought it was pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, normally I hear whatever happens in E3, and usually I pick out 2 or 3 things. What was it?
Whatever happens at E3 stays at E3.
No, but usually whatever news I get from E3 is like, oh, that sounds pretty cool. Okay, all right, but like I'm actually pretty excited about several things this E3, and that normally it doesn't happen because I usually wait a good long time to get whatever games, but like. Upcoming Doom, man, Metal Wolf Chaos, like, get out of my way.
Yeah, I'm really amped up about that Doom game especially. So, well, that'll be the show for this week, the last show of the original format. Please remember to subscribe to the Corrective Consciousness YouTube and Soundcloud pages. We mean it this time.
We didn't mean it last time.
No. Yeah. What we mean, for those of you who haven't heard, we're going to start migrating the podcast to the Corrective Consciousness YouTube page. We're going to have it's still on Lotus's page for a little while, and we're going to release it on both. But we're going to send out reminders to people to please subscribe to the other feed, because this is really a separate project, and Lotus graciously was helping us get an audience for it. And you know, it was just a part of his output for a little while, but it'll still be part of what he does on a weekly basis with us. We're just moving it to that channel, that way we can have our own Corrective Consciousness stuff outside of the Lotus Prince content. So and hopefully have our own Patreon page, so that'll be great. So so that way you could double dip and give Lotus.
I was just gonna say, like, I'm probably gonna personally stay out of the Patreon page for precisely that reason.
I figured you would, but we hadn't talked about it. So
yeah, it's like
I mean, just as an FYI, any Patreon money would actually just go to the production of the podcast. Believe it or not, we do put money into this. We've bought equipment over the years. I'm gonna tally it up and everything, but I've personally paid for the SoundCloud hosting and the website hosting for a good many years now. With the SoundCloud hosting at least for 2 years, and our website, whenever that goes up, whenever that goes live, I've actually had the domain for almost 7 years or so, something like that. So I'm really looking forward to the upcoming changes. It's a new era, but I think it's going to be better than ever now that it's going to be more tightly crafted. So we're always looking for input too. So please leave your feedback. As we are making changes and migrating and doing all that jazz. We don't want to lose you either. Like, please, subscribe to us and move over. We'll even set up links as well when the time comes. That way, Lotus can link you to exactly where to go. So anyway, any bit of encouragement helps keep the show going. Please give us 5-star ratings on iTunes, thumbs ups, and likes. You can catch us on. You will catch us on our new format next week. That's true. When we get to the new Recon and CoreCon. And finally, you can friend me as vysethebold on Steam, PSN, Xbox Live, and Twitter, Battle.net, and some other crap.
I was gonna say, you can find them everywhere. That's it. You can find them everywhere. Probably in person too. It's fine. You can find me on my YouTube channel, Lotus Prince. You can hit me up on Twitter at Lotus Prince. And finally, if you are interested in seeing my videos early, getting in on exclusive live streams, selecting upcoming games for me to Let's Play, and now I got that Discord server, then please consider hitting me up on my Patreon account, my only Patreon account, which is patreon.com/LotusPrince. And by the way, maybe you noticed we had a new theme for this week's Reactive Consciousness, so special thanks to Drakeologist for providing that as well. It's amazing.
Love that guy.
Yeah.
And you can find me as Cloud08540 or PyroJackFrost on plenty of the things that they've mentioned ahead of time.
All right, everybody.
Before me.
We'll catch you next week on Tuesday.
Until next time, everyone.
Bye.